There was a night when I looked at the clock and realized it was almost midnight. I'd been busy all day. I answered messages, finished work, watched a few videos, checked things off my list. I did what I was supposed to do. And yet, when I finally got into bed, I had this uncomfortable thought. What did I actually do with today? The strange part was, I hadn't wasted the day doing nothing. I'd been busy for almost 12 hours. But somehow, it still felt wasted. And that's when I started wondering, what if feeling like you're wasting your life has nothing to do with how much you're doing? For a long time, whenever I felt this way, I'd respond by doing more. I'd make another list, set another goal, start another project, try to wake up earlier, try to become more disciplined, because I assumed the problem was productivity. I thought, if I accomplish enough today, I'll finally feel like I'm moving forward. But the feeling kept coming back. Some days I was incredibly productive and still felt empty. Other days I barely accomplished anything and felt guilty. So eventually I realized something. I wasn't measuring my life by how I spent my time. I was measuring it by whether my time felt meaningful. And those are two completely different things. You can spend an entire day doing things, answering emails, attending meetings, scrolling through your phone, finishing assignments, completing small tasks, and at the end of the day, still feel like something is missing. Because being busy proves that you were occupied, but it doesn't prove that you were living according to what actually matters to you. That was the uncomfortable realization. Maybe I wasn't wasting my life. Maybe I was spending too much of it on things that didn't feel like mine, things I did because they were urgent, because other people expected them, because they were easy, or because they distracted me from harder questions. Like, what do I actually want? And sometimes that question is much harder than staying busy. So I stopped trying to fix the feeling by becoming more productive. Instead, I started doing three simple things. First, I started asking what actually mattered to me, not what looked impressive, not what other people were doing, not what I thought I was supposed to want, just what actually matters to me. Sometimes the answer was work. Sometimes it was family. Sometimes it was learning. Sometimes it was getting enough sleep. And sometimes it was simply doing nothing for a while. That question helped me separate what was important from what was merely loud. Second, I stopped treating every empty moment as a problem. Not every hour has to produce something. Some moments are for thinking, some are for resting, some are for talking to someone you love, and some are simply for being alive without turning it into a task. Because your life isn't a productivity report. And third, I started measuring my days differently. Instead of asking, how much did I accomplish? I started asking, did I spend some of today on something that actually mattered to me? Sometimes the answer was yes, sometimes it was no. But that question felt more honest, because one meaningful hour can matter more than 10 busy ones. I still have days where I feel like I'm wasting time, especially when I scroll for too long or keep myself busy with things that don't really matter. But now I understand the difference between resting and escaping, between being busy and moving forward, between filling time and actually living it. So if you've been lying in bed lately thinking, I'm wasting my life, maybe don't immediately respond by doing more. Pause and ask yourself, what part of my life actually feels missing? Maybe you need more discipline. Maybe you need more rest. Maybe you need to stop comparing yourself. Maybe you need more time with people who matter. Or maybe you've been so busy trying to build the life you're supposed to want that you haven't stopped to ask what kind of life you actually want. You don't need to make every day extraordinary. You don't need to maximize every hour. You don't need to prove your life is valuable by staying busy. You just need some of your time to feel like it belongs to you. Because a meaningful life isn't necessarily a busy life, and a quiet day isn't necessarily a wasted day. Sometimes the goal isn't to do more with your life, it's to actually be present for the life you're already living. If this resonated with you, share it with someone who feels like they're constantly running but still going nowhere. And if you want more real talk, small changes, and no guilt trips, subscribe to Spark Storytellers. I'll see you in the next one.